A niqab on the left allows the eyes to be seen, a burqa on the right doesn't. So does this policy amount to an attack on Muslims? Let's bring together Sahar Al-Faifi, who's worn a niqab since she was 14. She's a geneticist and Assistant Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Wales. Also with us, Liz Jones. She's on UKIP's National Executive Committee. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Liz Jones, tell Sahar Al-Faifi why you would ban what she's wearing right now.
Well, two reasons. Number one, we have the issue of security. I'm sure you're aware, Sahar, on the 21st of May 2005, one of the London bombers endeavoured to escape by wearing the full niqab. So we have a security issue. Also, I'm sure you're aware, there was a recent robbery at Selfridges store in London where all the robbers wear the niqab. Also, I'm sure you're aware that there were big issues in student campuses, in the dormitories in Cairo, Jordan and Afghanistan with terrorists entering those buildings wearing the niqab. So we have a security issue.
Sorry, on that point, would you ban motorcycle helmets then and balaclavas? Because we've had robberies with people wearing those as well.
Well, most shops, most public spaces...
Would you ban motorcycle helmets and balaclavas using the same logic?
I can't, no, because it's about public space. It's about the sharing of public space. You cannot enter certain public areas.
No, but you can commit a robbery. If it's about security, you can commit a robbery wearing a motorcycle helmet or a balaclava, can't you?
You
as
could.
Well as a niqab.
It is correct.
But you're not saying ban motorcycle helmets.
No, because there's another element. There's another element to that,
Carry
of course, for sure. The second element, of course, is the issue of integration, and we have to accept that the move of the 21st century is toward total inclusiveness. And inclusiveness and cohesion within the public space. So many people would consider that a woman being covered would show that she is separated, whether willingly or unwillingly, from society. In fact, I'm sure you're aware, in 2006, Jack Straw, the Labour MP, spoke vociferously against the face veil, and he was supported by Gordon Brown. He was also supported by Tony Blair, and I'm sure you're aware in January 2016, David Cameron reiterated that and said that public authority should have the right to set down reasonable rules with regard to the wearing of the face veil. And I'm sure you...
Let Sahar Al-Faifi respond now.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I have to explain why I am wearing the face veil. Number one, it's an act of worship. I am a human being who is in a spiritual journey, trying to connect with God, and that's why I'm wearing it. Now, the narrative that niqab or the face veil is somehow undermine security, it's a false narrative, because number one, Muslim women who chose to wear it are a minority within a minority, and this minority are more than happy to reveal their identity whether an ID card or whenever is needed. So security is a false narrative, but with the rise of Islamophobia and the hostile environment around Muslims, there is politicians making irresponsible comments across the political spectrum, not only UKIP, because now it suits the context that we live, demonizing and scapegoating minorities, and the easiest target for that is the Muslim woman. And now if we are talking about empowering Muslim women and enhancing their integration, surely you should support their right to express their faith in the way they want. Theresa May said on the hijab day in February, what women wears is her choice to wear. So when we have people telling us it's actually a security issue, it's undermines integration, we have to talk to those women who chose to wear it. I am a geneticist. I participate in public life. I campaign for social justice. But what you have the far right like UKIP trying to distract the public from the more important issues like housing and employment, creating jobs for the youth, using this piece of fabric that I chose to wear it, part of my faith, part of my identity.
Okay.
I have to say it's not, number one, it's not a far-right issue. As I said earlier, in 2006, Jack
Yeah.
Straw of the Labour Party.
Did you know that he apologised for it?
Yeah, he did.
in London.
Did apologise.
He apologised publicly for it.
He apologised for it, but he did have the support of Gordon Brown. He did have the support of Tony Blair, and as you're aware, David Cameron.
But he apologised for it. It's a mistake.
Yeah, but David Cameron.
The difference with those parties is they never put it in one of their general election manifestos.
They haven't put it in
access to politicians.
They haven't put it in a manifesto.
Whether they wear niqab or
hang on, please
they
don't
have
talk.
to have
Please don't talk over. I'll give each of you the right time.
It's not an issue with regard to religion per se, because in 2017 Morocco banned it. The Grand Mosque in Mecca has banned it. It is not common wear in Iran, Turkey, Bangladesh,
about Britain.
Pakistan.
And Britain is a multicultural
Of course it is. I appreciate that. And
it's
that's why within
society.
the private sphere, you are free to wear whatever you want within the private sphere. However, because of the very fact that we're a multifaceted, multicultural nation now, the public sphere has to have communality so that all segments of society can feel that they can belong and they can feel safe and they don't feel ostracised.
Now let Sahar Al-Faifi respond.
Thank you very much. Is commonality means unifying everyone and that we have to look the same? Is this what you're talking about? This is assimilation. This is not integration. Okay, everyone has the right to express their faith, their sexual orientation, their belief, their views, as long as they don't harm anyone. This is what we live today in the multicultural British society. I am not going to accept to be assimilated into the larger society for the sake of diluting, just to dilute my identity or my faith. If we are talking about integration, then we should create an equal space for everyone to express wherever they want.
OK, let me ask Liz Jones. Your leader, Paul Nuttall, said, yes, wear it in the privacy of your own home, but when you're out and about, you would be fined. How will that work?
That would be a matter for the police to organise. I understand that they've organised it in France. As you're aware, it is now illegal since 2011 to wear the burqa in France. I understand it is a fining situation. I don't know how the police would manage that. That would be a matter for them to organise.
Anti-Muslim sentiment has led to an increase in physical, verbal and online attacks previously in Britain. Do you think the same is going to happen this time?
No, not at all.
Why?
There are many Muslims in this country who would support a burqa ban. We've had well-known Muslims speaking out. Salman Rushdie has spoken out against it.
What if it does lead to an increase in verbal, physical and online attacks?
What, by banning it? I don't see, if wearing the face veil was made a criminal offence, well, not necessarily a criminal offence, be a low-level offence.
What do you mean?
It would be simply
low-level non-criminal offence or a low-level criminal offence?
It would be on the par, I would say, with antisocial behaviour, which was a previous Labour initiative. If it were at that level, I don't see why on earth it would result in more attacks, because people would be, I presume, obeying the law, in which case they would be having their faces uncovered.
How about I speak to you from my experience? You know, after Brexit, there is an increase, a sharp increase in Islamophobic attack. I am facing Islamophobic attack, and so much so that it has become part of my life because of your irresponsible comments against Muslim, alienating them and otherizing them all the time for the sake of getting votes. I'll give you an example. I did an interview with BBC in response to the proposed anti-extremism laws by David Cameron, and someone passed by, looked fearlessly at the camera and swore at me, "You're an F-word bomber," because you and the like of you, they say that I, as a Muslim, am threatening the security, I'm threatening the society. When people see politicians like you speaking in the media like this, someone in the street have the guts to look at the camera and say, "You're an F-word bomber." Now, if we are supporting community cohesion, then we must reject hate and bigotry. This is what happens in the front of the camera. You can imagine what could happen behind it. Someone like me who's highly educated, working tirelessly to treat cancer patients, is being abused in the street. Now, is that acceptable? Is that acceptable
not
to
acceptable.
discriminate against anyone?
It's
just
not
because
acceptable.
Okay, well, now
the way they
you've asked her a
express
question.
their
Sorry,
faith-
Sahar, you've asked Liz Jones a question. Let her respond.
It's not acceptable. It's a criminal offence. Did you report it to the police? Did you do anything like that?
Of course I did.
And
Of
what
course I
result did you get?
The result that they couldn't persecute him, because also there is also there's a gap in the UK law. Muslims are not protected equally as the black and the Jewish community. But this is another discussion that we can talk about.
Why do you think that?
I'm telling you, listen, what I'm saying to you, that irresponsible comments by you contributes to demonising the
comments
Muslims.
have I made to
and
date?
you're a woman and I'm a woman. We should support
we are both
each
women,
other
and I
in
would
expressing our
suggest,
views.
I would say
if
to my
a woman
sister in
wants to wear a
Cardiff
miniskirt,
that
let
you
her wear
remember
it. If a woman wants to wear a face
1923,
veil, let her wear it. We need to respect
Sharafi,
each other as long
the
as
Egyptian
I'm not harming
feminist,
anyone.
took the very, very brave step of going into Tahrir Square, and she also removed her face veil in public. And that was the launch in Egypt of women's rights.
Let me read some
inch by inch.
I'm going to pause you there. I'm going to pause you there to read.
Rights for women.
I'm going to pause you there. Thank you.
Move.
Thank you, Liz Jones. Thank you, Sahar Al-Faifi. These are comments from people watching around the country. Rebecca tweets this. The UKIP debate is embarrassing. It's blatantly a racist attack, no matter how they dress it up. This UKIP representative should be ashamed. Alexander tweets, won't ban balaclava for the same logical reasons. Hardly any crimes occur because someone wore a veil. Tweet from Terry, pretty sure there will be better integration if UKIP would stop trying to force everyone to be like them. Rob asked the UKIP woman if face coverings include EDL thugs in balaclavas.
EDL thugs in balaclavas? Well, it depends where they're wearing the balaclava. Obviously, they won't be allowed into a bank or a department store wearing a balaclava.
But on the street, out and about, that's fine with you?
It's about being in the public domain. If people find that intimidating, that's an issue.
So that's fine for EDL thugs and balaclavas out and about on the street? You're not suggesting banning that or putting that in your manifesto?
I wouldn't be suggesting putting balaclavas in the manifesto because it's a double situation. We have the security situation, and if that saved one life, it would be worth doing. The other situation, of course, is the integration situation where
Do you think it makes it easy for people to integrate with EDL thugs wearing balaclavas?
Well, how many EDL thugs wearing balaclavas are there? I'm not aware of having seen one on my way to this studio today. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in my life, to be honest. Have you?
Okay. So sorry, speaking again about integration. Now let's talk about facts. 26% of the NHS staff are agents. Muslims contribute almost £30 billion to the British economy. 50% of Muslim females or 50% of Muslim students generally are in university in comparison to 38% of the general public. This is what I call integration.
Okay, final question to Liz Jones of UKIP. I just wanted to get your reaction to the fact that one of the French presidential candidates going through to the final round is Marine Le Pen, tough on law and order, anti-immigration. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't know if she's necessarily anti-immigration. I know that she wants to have more secure measures within France, and that's a matter for her. I don't seek to make any comment about her policies. I'm in Britain and I'm concerned for the British public. Now, I will say...
Would you rather she won compared to the independent centrist candidate Emmanuel Macron?
I am not going to get involved with the French election. That would be impertinent.
No, do you have an opinion?
Well, not really. It would be impertinent of me to express.
No, it wouldn't. You're allowed to express a personal opinion about who you'd rather win the French presidential election.
I wouldn't like it if she were to start making remarks, particularly about the British election, saying people should vote for this one or that one.
I'm not asking you to tell people who to vote for in France. I'm just asking who you prefer out of the two.
Well, I prefer
Marine.
She's better looking.
OK. Thank you very much for your time. Liz Jones from UKIP and Sahar Al-Faifi, who's worn a niqab since she was 14.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.